Okay. Yeah. So, hi everyone. Here is 38 participants. Oh, great. Hi everyone. And welcome to our very first TUG of 2025. So, I'm Rika Fujiwara, and I'm super excited to kick off today's session. Thanks for joining us. Whether you're a longtime member or new to the Tableau Plus AI TUG, we are thrilled to have you here. Today, we've got three awesome three awesome sessions lined up that showcase how AI is transforming our work with Tableau. We are keeping things simple and fun, so feel free to drop your questions in the chat as we go along. To start things off, Dan and the agent team will introduce some new features for Tableau Parse and Tableau Agent, along with a sneak peek at what's in the roadmap. Then it's your turn. Please go your session.
Okay, sure. Let me share my screen real quick. Cool. So between John and myself, we're going to cover two Tableau products, both Tableau Pulse and Tableau Agent. But I want to sort of quickly talk about investments that we are making in AI in general and sort of how we kind of think about this world and how it impacts our users and ultimately impacts the products that we're going to build. This statement here about AI having power thing, shouldn't come as a surprise. And it's also changing the way that everybody works and how we work with data. I don't think this is, crazy town for sure. However, something we've observed even going back further than sort of the advent of generative AI is that as we've developed more and more tools and have had access to more and more data, we still have challenges across organizations in how ultimately data is shared and accessed and acted upon. Like this graphic here on the far right, about 30% of the workforce using data, right? This means that within the enterprise in general, despite all the tools and all the data and all the different visualization types and other applications, that 70% of people feel that they are not being served well by the tools and applications that are available to them, which for us means it's a huge opportunity to help lots of people, which is great because that's why we're here. And so, nothing is going to stay as it was forever. And so the landscape of analytics and the spaces that we all work in are continuing to evolve. And so when we think about where we are and what our mission is as we enter sort of this new world, it's still to help people see and understand data, but to add on really to ultimately, act on that data and make better decisions. And so for us, this means trying to serve really the entire spectrum of the types of users that ultimately are using data in their day-to-day. And so really up to the past couple of years, Tableau has been really focused on kind of the left side of this continuum. For myself and Tableau Pulse, we are very much specifically targeted at the right side of this continuum. Business users is kind of a broad term that kind of can span, it's not like a black or white thing, it's kind of a gray thing. So when I think about Pulse, And what I'm going to talk about, it's sort of like the right 50% of that business user box, all the way to the far right of this chart. But as Tableau and a product team and an engineering team, we want to build amazing experiences for all of these personas. And the way that we are trying to tackle that problem across the personas, at least recently with some of our newest innovations, are around these two products, Tableau Pulse and Tableau Agent. So Pulse, like I mentioned, is really about that non-data expert, maybe not super data literate. The way we kind of talk about it is they need data to do their jobs, but like data is not their job. Like they are not in a Tableau workbook or dashboard or in Excel all day. But they need data to do their job well. And ultimately, what they are going to be evaluated on is the decisions that they are making and the actions they take that could be better decisions and actions if they use data effectively. So that's kind of when I talk about the business users for Pulse. This is kind of what I'm talking about. So before John gets into Agent, and I think he's going to do a demo, I'm not going to click around in Pulse, but I do want to talk about where we are investing in Pulse and its future capabilities. And I'll show specific features on the next slide, but really everything that we do in Tableau Pulse is going to fall into one of these buckets, right? I want to make great experiences for business users. Like we don't want to reinvent workbooks or dashboards inside of Pulse. We want to build experiences that are specifically tailored to that persona. And we want to have them be engaged and make things easy for them to consume data and keep things organized. We want to increase the breadth of insights that our product generates. A lot of why we believe Pulse is effective with these types of users is we're presenting information in narrative form as well as with visualizations by ultimately automating a lot of the analysis that someone would have to do if they were like digging into the data. And so we want to expand the universe of algorithms we run, language we generate, stories that we tell. We want to not only describe what happened in the data, but also to tell people what they can and should do with this information. And then on the bottom, we want to expand the types of metrics that Pulse can report on. If you're in the retail space and you have a custom calendar, we want Pulse to be useful for you. If you care about the performance of a metric on a rolling 7-day average or last 30 days compared to the 30 days before, those types of things. So time-based use cases is a really big part. And then on the bottom right, we want to be able to serve as many people as possible with features that might fall into the governance category. Or we recently added the ability to generate our content in other languages, things like that. So examples of some of these buckets, when I talk about gain and focus business user attention, things like alerts, things like mobile usability, and making the Tableau mobile app really a destination for these business users. Understand what's going on, new insight types, being able to have content that spans across metrics, as well as with the star here, being able to generate insights in different languages and locales. Taking actions. We recently released the ability to provide links to other content, whether it's in Tableau or elsewhere, that are associated with a metric, as well as drill in a level deeper from the visualizations that we present. Time-based use cases, I talked about custom calendar and rolling windows. Larger audience, being able to report on goals, thresholds, governance, having a notion of metrics being certified. And this is what the roadmap looks like. I don't have specific dates put on these, but when I talk about recently delivered, you can see the different features that have come out and where they've come from. VOC stands for Voice of Customer. So that's through our sales and solutions engineering team create a record internally that's like, hey, someone wants this. This is the customer. There's a kind of a recap and a write-up about what's, and so a lot of these have come directly from that type of feedback. So coming in the near term, being able to control when the digest is sent, a Q&A experience across metrics, alerts, control over, can define metrics, so that's governance, and more control over formatting, like, the number of decimal places. And as we go into the future, certified metrics, insights about predictions and goals and thresholds, more interactivity in our mobile app, custom calendars like in the retail space. And then as we move in the future, really a whole bunch of things that fall into those buckets that I showed. So yeah, that is it. I will pass it off to John to talk about Agent.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dan. Let me share my screen. Okay, just orienting my windows a bit. So yes, I'm John Hendrick. I'm a senior software engineering manager working on Tableau Agent as well as Pulse Discover. So I might make a few forward-looking statements. Just keep in mind that you should check with your account representative if you are considering any purchasing decisions. And just want to thank the group, the organizers, for setting this up. I'm very excited to be here. I've actually worked at Tableau for about 11 years, and in the days before COVID, I used to go to some Tableau user groups in person. And it's really cool to see a Tableau user group that's just spanning across so many countries and time zones as well. If you are in Seattle and you're interested in ever getting together to talk about Tableau, I'd be happy and interested to meet up. So Tableau is our conversational AI agent for data exploration and preparation. Tableau Agent uses the Einstein Trust Layer to help make sure that your data stays secure, so it's never, saved or kept or used for training by third parties, for example, as well as the Trust Layer protects against hallucinations and toxicity. Tableau Agent for web authoring specifically guides you through your analysis, and it enables anyone, even a novice, to have the capabilities of a Viz expert at their disposal. Or if you happen to be skilled in Tableau, Tableau Agent for web authoring helps you be more productive. Tableau Agent also is in Tableau Prep. So if you're preparing a big data set, you may need to add a complex calculation. Even if you're a pro at this, you may struggle to kind of remember or figure out how to set up a calculation. Tableau Agent can help with that. Just describe what you're trying to get done and let Tableau Agent handle it for you. Tableau Agent is also available for documenting your data sources is very helpful, but it's tedious. But it's very important because the descriptions help to improve the quality of any insights that other users can get from your data, as well as other agents can get from your data. So having well-described data, well-annotated data helps users find and understand what your data source is about. And I strongly recommend that you take advantage of adding descriptions to your data sources. This will help Tableau Agent, and it will help other users. And you can do so just with Agent, just clicking on a button here to draft a description, which you can edit. So that was a summary of what we have. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some upcoming features. So I'm happy to report that we're working on Agent in Dashboard. Specifically, we're working on dashboard narratives, which will help dashboard consumers understand what a dashboard is telling them. And I'll talk a little bit more about this in a moment. I'm also happy to report that we're working on Analyzer Skills Update. So with Tableau Agent today, you might find that when you're typing in a particular question that you need to be pretty explicit about an instruction on what you want it to do. With the Analyzer Update, Tableau Agent is able to handle higher level intents and objectives. It can reason over it, figure out a plan, and execute steps to carry out the plan. And I'll be showing a demo of this in a moment. The capabilities of Tableau Agent that are in web authoring are coming to desktop, which is obviously a big win for all of our creators who prefer using desktop. So Agent API. So something that we've been hearing and are definitely aware of is that our data dev community is growing. And customers are expecting that Tableau is not just a tool that they work in, but it's a platform that they build on. So Agent API enables product teams, ISVs, customers, data devs to build custom chat with their data solutions in the applications of their choice. So demos. So for dashboard narratives, I wanted to show a demo, but the demo is not working. The demo environment is not working right now. So I'm going to show some Figma just to give a flavor of what this is. So imagine that I'm a dashboard consumer, and this is a dashboard that I consume regularly, and I want to get some help on understanding what I'm looking at. So open up the dashboard, click Tableau Agent to open up the agent side pane, and click Insights Narrative. And when I do that, what Tableau Agent does is it analyzes the dashboard, what is visually on the dashboard, including all the filter settings. It also analyzes outlier data that comes from explained data. And furthermore, it analyzes pulse metrics insights data. So it analyzes this data and then builds a narrative that explains what the dashboard is showing. So this helps me as a dashboard consumer understand what the dashboard is telling me about my business. Patterns, trends, relationships, outliers, so that I know what to pay attention to and I can take action more quickly. So that's dashboard narratives. Now I'd like to show you Analyzer, and I am going to use a live demo environment for this. Keep in mind, it is a demo environment. There's a lot of construction, so to speak, going on right now. So there's a chance that an error will happen. But I'm going to edit a workbook here. It's a workbook about Spotify metrics. And I'm going to start a new sheet here. I'm going to open up Tableau Agent, accept the guidance there. And here's a scenario. So Then type multi-step here, that is just a temporary command that we're just using during development right now. And I want to see when each country hit their maximum MAU, so monthly average users. So this is, you may notice this is somewhat of a more high-level objective. I'm not telling it exactly how to do things. I'm telling it more of an objective. So I'm going to go ahead and send that. So this is a demo environment. Let me try this again. Just going to click a new sheet. Try it again. And should be coming back with here with a plan, but if the demo is cooperating with me. Well, this is not quite what I expected. It did not show the plan, but let me tell, so it should be showing a plan. So, but I'll show you real quick back on the slides here. Let's see. So what I was expecting to see is that it would say, hey, so you want to see when each country hit their maximum MAU. These are the steps we're going to do. Step one, it's going to create an LOD calc for each country's monthly average usage maximum, a calculation to figure out when the date was first reached, and then a third step to put it all together. So it actually did that. It actually went all the way to the end. It did not show the plan. So again, this is a demo environment. There's a lot of things going on. But what happened here is that actually it created a new calculation, max MAU per country. This was not there before. This happened during the demo. So level of detail calculation. It also created an LOD calculation to figure out the in this case, the last date where the maximum MAU was reached. And then it built a viz then to show that all the countries in this data set hit it on 12/31/2024. Italy was on May 4th, 2024. So demo didn't quite work out as expected, but that is what Analyzer does, is it understands and reasons over higher level objectives and comes up with a plan. So that about wraps it up. Just a few Tableau agent best practices just to take away. So the data source quality makes a big difference, and taking those extra steps to make sure field names are descriptive, unique, having a description of the data source. All of these things really help a lot and improve the accuracy and overall quality that you'll get from Tableau Agent. So that's it. Thank you again.
Thank you, Dan and John. Thank you for your presentation and the demo. I'm very happy to see that Japanese character on the slide. I hope we can handle the localized, the pause in Japanese. I can't wait. Thank you for your presentations. Okay, then next up, we have GB with a live demo on AI for data analysis. Get ready to see how AI can make your data analysis more efficient and insightful. Over to you, GB.
Thank you. Can you hear me? I'm just going to share my screen. Can't see my screen, right? Okay, cool. Hi, I'm Gbolahan Adebayo, and it's an honor to speak at this Tableau user group, and thank you very much for having me here. So I'll just mostly be talking about using AI tools, especially ChatGPT, to create data sets and to help build your perfect portfolio, basically. So just going to set a timer for myself. Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah. So yeah, meet Gbolahan. I'm Gbolahan Adebayo. I'm a data visualization developer at Magnets and a Tableau enthusiast. Also a two-time Tableau public ambassador, and also two-time VZ winner, and also lucky to have my visualization selected for Views of the Day 6 times. I also co-lead the Lagos Tableau user group with some friends from Lagos, Nigeria. Yeah. And outside of work, I enjoy watching Manchester City, like going to the gym and whiskey and Pinteresting. So that's just a quick. Basically, I would just talk about generating data sets with ChatGPT and particularly using the GPT data mock star and why I think it's the perfect starter data set creator for your projects. And the data mock star, it's a simple custom GPT that allows you to create data sets that you can use to mimic real world industries basically. So there are lots of industries that do not have data sets generally generally available. And oftentimes when trying to build your portfolio, you want to show a range of how you can build different dashboards that could cater to different industries and that could make sense to stakeholders in these different industries, either if you're looking for a potential opportunity in these industries or you're just trying to try to attack new problems and think about different ways to visualize data in different industries. So Data Master was created by Adam Miko, one of the leaders of this TOG, and it's definitely an incredible tool. And so what's possible? So with the advantage of being able to create my data sets, I have been able to develop dashboards and visualizations in Tableau for industries where data is not easily accessible. So for example, in the healthcare industry, you don't really have much data that is easily accessible to you out there. So you can create mock data with this and use it for your portfolio and for building visualizations on your portfolio. And also it helps you to showcase your visualization skills and your ability to work with data from various industries, especially if you have plans to probably be a consultant as well, where you would meet with different clients and you get to face different problems day in, day out. So you definitely want to test your skills in how you get to approach data sets from different industries and how you can provide insights that could be valuable to stakeholders in these fields. And so this has, significantly contributed to my personal growth, increased my exposure, and at the end of the day, helped get job opportunities. And so what's possible? So I'm just going to show like some of the dashboards I've been able to create from data sets that was created using ChatGPT and the data mockstar GPT. So this is a logistics dashboard, and using ChatGPT, I was able to create a data set that focused on the logistics industry, and that would have compared drivers in an arbitrary and hypothetical company that delivers goods to warehouse. So I was able to create these data sets from the scratch and also build a dashboard for it. And another dashboard I was also able to build was one that was in the healthcare industry, and it was more about doctors' appointments summary dashboard. And if you can see, I was able to create a data set that was focused on the healthcare industry. I really wanted to build something for the healthcare industry, but then I tried to search out there, and then there's not lots of data that are readily available that relates to this sort of dashboard I was trying to build. And so I was able to build the data sets using the Mockstar and then put together a dashboard that sort of showed what I had in mind to build. And then you see like the dashboard was able to show a summary of doctor's appointments across multiple patients and show key metrics and appointment details, and also show I'm able to approach a data set from the healthcare industry. Lucky enough, this dashboard also got to win Views of the Day. So it was very good to highlight the dashboard itself and also the process behind bringing it to life using ChatGPT to create the data sets. And then thirdly, this is also under data sets from from the marketing side of things. And this is a marketing campaign performance dashboard. And it's a dashboard I built also from the dataset that was generated using Mockstar ChatGPT. And I was able to create this dataset to focus on marketing campaigns. And the dashboard that tried to show a summary of multiple campaigns, of a campaign across multiple channels, and then highlighting several metrics: impressions, conversion rates, engagement, return on investment, etc. So yeah, you can see the final product. But before this, there was not a data set that like was readily available based on what I wanted to do. And so using ChatGPT DataMox, I was able to create a data set that was very helpful towards getting this final product. And this also won, was also lucky to win like Viz of the Day as well from Tableau. Tableau Publican was highlighted, and this particular dashboard helped to get the most recent gig or opportunity I'm working in right now, because I was trying to expand my portfolio and build a dashboard that could be very interesting for people that were in the marketing industry. And then this was able to be done, and then I got an opportunity right from Tableau IAME from this dashboard, and I currently work there as well. So the opportunities are quite limitless. So how do you create your own perfect data set? So one, you have to understand what your data set is for, and then you keep the end product in mind. So if you know, for example, what you're trying to build and what industry you're trying to create a dashboard for, or create something for, even if you're not trying to create a dashboard for an industry, say you're trying to resolve a problem and then you're trying to ask for help, but you don't want to share like the clients that are very sensitive information, you can also create mock data to share that and then put the dashboard together from that, and then easily get like the help you need for what you're trying to do. So it's good to define like clear objectives of what your data set is going to be for. And then you make sure like it's relevant and realistic. So you definitely want to create data sets that are very realistic, right? Because in your dashboard, it's going to show at the end of this. So whatever you feed in into Tableau, is going to be what is going to show at the end of this. So when you're trying to create your data sets, there has to be a strong effort to make sure like it mirrors real world scenarios and it aligns with context in which any stakeholder in this potential industry that's looking at this particular dashboard, for example, or particular visualization you're about to do is able to relate to it, because there is strong focus on making sure it relates to real world as closely as possible. And then thirdly, you have to provide detailed prompts. So it's the quality of what you get is very much dependent on the quality of your prompts that you write, or the quality of how you're able to explain what you're trying to do. And so you have to try to be very specific with your queries and be sure, because it's still an AI tool, and then it's taking in instructions from you and giving you back responses. So sometimes it's maybe doesn't give exactly what you want, or it hallucinates. And so you have to make sure like you reiterate on what you exactly want, and you're extremely specific to your queries, and make sure you sort of go through it severally to make sure that the data quality that you want is what you're getting. And then finally, it's important that you validate and clean the data, right? There is no 100% assurance that whatever you get is exactly the cleanest version. So you have to be sure like whenever you get a data set that you're trying to create, you make sure it's clean, you perform personal cleaning process on it yourself, and then you make sure that's accurate as possible. So I'm going to try to just walk through how I create a data set myself for a call center data set for a dashboard. And so I'll just switch here to so let me see. Just going to okay. Can you see this new view? Okay. All right. Can you see the new okay. All right, cool.
I see, yeah, Data Mockstar, ChatGPT. Yep.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, thank you. So here is Data Mockstar by Adamiko. It's the GPT, and it's basically allows you to create data sets like from scratch yourself based on the queries that you feed. By default, it exports 1,000 row CSV, but you can always, tell it to give you like even more than that. So yeah, about that. So say I want to create a call center data set for the first time. So naturally, first thing I would do is to first go to the internet and try to understand what a dashboard that would relate to a call center industry would look like. So first ask questions about what would be potential requirements that could be necessary for this kind of dashboard, or if I was a stakeholder and I want to look at the performance of agents that like call customers, what are like some of the metrics I would want to measure performance by, or what are some of the things I would like to see in a dashboard. And so once you have an idea of that in your head, so it's able for you, it makes it easier for you to get results from ChatGPT and or like from this GPT and understand, oh, this is not exactly what I want, or this is exactly what I'm looking for, or I would like to fine tune this to fit in this particular frame. So I'll just mostly start by just saying I want to create I think let me just I have like some of the prompts I've written to save time. So like I want to create a call center data set that can be used to create a dashboard that'll be useful for hypothetical stakeholders in this industry. So first I ask for the field. So I think in the past, what I usually used to do in the past was I say I want to create a call center data set, and then I say give me the data sets like just straight. So it just takes a line of prompt and gives me wherever it says. So I found out like with this, it didn't usually give me something very close to the end goal like I usually want. And so first thing I try to do now is to first tell it that I need like this type of dashboard, and then I want to look at the suggestions for the kind of fields that would make sense to get from this dashboard. And so I send that in first, and then I sort of get like a list of fields that could be important for like a data set like this to build the dashboard. And then it starts listing things out, call ID, date, time, day of the week, call time, and that's from the call perspective. And then he looks at it from the agent's perspective, unique identifier for the agent, department, tenure, and all these metrics. And then customer information as well. So he lists out like several fields that could be very important in regards to customer information. And then also call center metrics. And then list out like some examples of fields as well that could be very important in this table. And then next thing it does, because I told it like I want to create a dashboard. So next thing that it does is to suggest several insights that my dashboard should be able to provide, right? Looking at things from the agent performance metrics and from customer experience analysis, operational efficiency, and a call trend. So this is like a great way to start. And next thing is asking, do I want it to generate a mock data set? So most times I in the past I just like say yes directly, and then it just like throws it at me. But I try to like refine like the next process, and then I basically say I think I have like my prompts copied so I don't waste time typing it. So next thing I try to do is, okay, from this different breakdowns, it has already given me a list, so I don't think this is necessary anymore. So then I ask it to give me a description of each field, right? Because sometimes if it's a field I'm familiar with, I've done some research there, I know exactly what each field means, and then I know how that could be useful for the dashboard I'm trying to build. But if it's not a field I'm very, very vast in, then I ask to give me a description of each field that it has given me, and then it should give me the data type for such a field, and then give me an example of a value in the field. So say if I'm looking at an agent, like say agent's name, then it's going to give me, for example, maybe John Doe, or like an example of a value that would be in that field, and then how the field could be used contextually. And then I ask it to specifically give me a date field that covers a span of 2 years, let's say 2020 to 2022, and then ensure that fields and examples are as close to real life scenario as possible. I just put that as a caveat, right? But I still have to review the data to make sure that makes sense. But like explicitly writing that line in the prompts just gives you like that second layer of security and making sure like this is as close to as real life as possible and as I would want. So I send in this field, and then what's done next is it gives me like, you see, it's almost like a documentation of the fields that are going to be in the data set that I'm going to use. And then it start listing the field name, the description, the data type, the example value of what is going to be in that particular field, and then the usage in this analysis. So after I generate my data set, say I've gotten to the end, looking at this documentation, for me personally, or for whoever is going to use the dashboard at the end of the day that I attach to the dashboard, you're able to like read through like these fields. You're able to look at the description for these fields, able to get data types. So it's almost like I'm getting a dashboard documentation already right from the process of creating the data set. And so it sort of like gives me a list of all these fields. And personally, I would go through them to make sure like it makes sense and to make sure the values that I'm getting are like what I'm expecting. And then you can see it sort of just lists all these different fields, and then it sort of adds the explanation of why these fields, right? So the perspectives, usefulness for the dashboard, and then the 2-year period and support insight and all of that. And so first, I would definitely want to get this as a document to keep as document for documentation purposes. So I'm just going to tell it to generate a document that is containing this information, and then also the relationships within this field. So, and to allow to download in Word document. And then sometimes to ensure like it's as close to real life as possible, then I could tell you to add like a brief explanation of how these fields relate to each other and how they mimic real life data set as possible if I wanted. So I could just add that to the prompt as well, and then it gives it to me. So I just send this in, and then it tries to process it and allows me to download that Word document. So with the Word document, while I'm trying to create my dashboard, I'm not just looking at fields and looking at like fields in the Excel sheets and then thinking and racking my head about how they relate to each other. I'm able to like also have the documents by my side, and helps me to look at how each fields relate to each other, like in the grander scale, and now that makes sense. So I just go ahead to download this first. Then yeah, it downloads that. It downloads that, and then finally, I'm able to just look at the download that I have. I think I have it open in the second screen, so I'm just going to open it and push it to the screen. Sorry. So it's like it just gives me a simple Word document of like all these different fields. So I probably would have to clean the document myself better for like for an end user perspective. But with this, I can basically see the documentation of the dataset I have and the potential dashboard I'm going to create. And then based off this, I understand, okay, these are the relationships between each field. And when you're working on a personal dataset and you feel like there are still more relationships to be defined, it's as easy as you going back to it and say, I want the relationship between this feed and this feed to be like this in this way, or I want to make sure like a particular agent can make agents can make more than 5 calls in a day, or agents shouldn't make more than up to 10 calls in a day, things like that, right? And so once I have that defined, then what I personally do is then I upload that dashboard documentation back to it, and then based off it, tell it to then create the data set for me. So, and then I upload it back to it, and then I say, based on this document, create a data set of 2,000 rows, show me a preview, and when I verify, allow me to download it as an Excel CSV file, or if I want it as a worksheet that has several tables, say I want to normalize the data set, so I'm going to tell it to normalize it for me and allow me to download agents table, say calls table, say customer table. So once I tell it to normalize, then it creates a normalized version of that for me as well, and then puts the relationships between it. But if I want it as a single CSV file where everything is in one particular view or one particular view at a time, and I just tell it to create a data set of say 2,000 rows, and then show a preview, and when I verify, allow download as an Excel CSV file, and then it just goes ahead to analyze that and then like works on the process. So while doing that, I just wait for it to do that, and say it don't take very long. So cool. And so so here is it, and then it shows me the preview, and so I can expand this table and basically just go through some of the things that I'm seeing right now, and just like do a quick look through of these different fields and how they make sense. Like it's a lot of columns and I think about 2,000 rows of them. So just basically look through, and if I have comments on things to adjust and change, and then I try to like So there's the time, there's the day of the week, the call type, the call reason, the call resolution, escalation level, agent ID, agent department. It looks very close to what you would get from as close as possible to a real life scenario. And then I just download this particular data set that it has curated for me. And so once that's done, then I just open it up personally on my Excel set of things. And I just try to look through. I think it's allowed to just scroll up to the top for me. Okay. So next thing I'll just try to filter, look through some of these different rules that I have in the data sets. And then this is where I try to do some sort of personal cleaning myself. So I could take this to Tableau Prep, for example, or just if I want to do anything quickly in Excel itself, just use Power Query and then sort of just go through all the different fields, or just open it up in Tableau as well. Try to visualize like several fields and compare them to each other to see how it makes sense, or to see like if the fields contain like the list of expecting. And so once I look at it like that way and I feel, okay, fine, there is a problem with this part, all I have to do is to just go back to the prompts that I've written and just tell it to, adjust things, or fix this particular field, or change this particular thing, and just, play around with it till I eventually get what it is that I'm looking for. So that's basically it. I think I have like 3 minutes. So thank you.
Thank you, GB. The very informative step-by-step demo. So I really like those kind of collaboration with LLM and Tableau creators. It's so much productive. Thank you. Okay. Then finally, Joy will wrap up our event by showing us some the data visualizations that highlight how AI impacts climate and sustainability. Joy, over to you.
Thank you so much, Rika. So I'll just go straight in and I'll try to make this as quick as possible. So we're talking about visualizing sustainability. So what's that about? So according to the International Energy Agency, the global consumption of electricity is estimated to reach about 1,000 terawatt hours globally, right, in 2026. And that's a lot, right? So, which is almost double of like what we are using currently, or what was being used in 2023. And now there's a reason why all of this is happening, and there's a reason why we should be concerned. So first of all, what is 1,000 terawatt hour? What does that look like? That is the exact amount of electricity that Japan consumes. So we wouldn't want a situation where Rika doesn't have electricity, right? So for context, Rika is in Japan and it's almost 3 a.m. her time. So please put your hands together for Rika. She makes a ton of sacrifice to always join our talks, and Rika was so grateful to have you. So why is this happening? Why is it estimated that we're going to be consuming a lot more electricity than usual? And that's because we are basically in the AI race right now, and AI needs data centers, and data centers require electricity and water to run. So if you run a simple ChatGPT query, that requires about 2.9 watt hours and about 500 milliliters of water. So if you look at what GB was doing today, GB has consumed a lot of electricity and a lot of water. We're not mad at you, GB. We're just making sure to tell people that these things actually happen. So now, and why is this something we should look into? It's a thing of economics, right? Basically, it's not as simple as economics do, but it's demand and supply. You get the gist. So, and why is this so important? Because we're using electricity, and electricity comes from sources. So we have different sources. We have fossil fuels, we have hydropower, we have nuclear generation. So many ways for us to generate electricity. And the problem with that is not all the sources are renewable. So for example, the global hydropower capacity fell below 40% in 2023. And that is huge, considering that this led to drought in certain countries around the world. And now nuclear generation is also on the rise, with Asia planning to lead that in 2026. And as much as nuclear generation has been proclaimed as safe, we all still have our worries and concerns about nuclear reactors. So now what? What do we do moving forward? So first of all, there's this joke that I think a lot of us have come across where people say by the time they finish giving a prompt on ChatGPT, they tell ChatGPT, thank you. So when ChatGPT chooses to take over the world, it forgives them or it's nice to them. So we probably can't tell ChatGPT thank you all the time, but what we can do is we can use AI better. We can use AI smarter. So like all the demos we've seen today, everyone showed very great and fantastic use cases for AI. And because we know that this thing consumes a lot of electricity and it affects our world, we should use it wisely. So you shouldn't really be generating images of cats with 150 eyes. See? So you want to use this wisely. You want to have very good use cases. Another thing would be for us to optimize models. Thankfully, with DeepSeek, we've been able to see how models can be a lot more efficient. And I think that is a line a lot more people are going to toe. And next is sustainable data center practices. You can also make sure that your data centers, if you have knowledge of these, are using renewable energy. Next is investing in renewable energy. Fun fact, Africa has a lot of renewable energy. Basically, the sun is really hot here. But we don't have as much investment in renewable energy here, especially solar energy. More investment would be great for us to basically help the current situation of the world. And also the government can also improve climate policies in making sure that people are doing the right things. Big companies are doing the right things. Because we see a lot of companies professing that they are going to cut down their carbon emission, they are going to cut down their energy usages. But year after year, we see that that keeps going up and higher and higher. And my kind word of plea today would be, if you are in an organization that utilizes AI or has data centers, I would say you should ask questions. Ask the right questions. What is going on? How much electricity are we consuming? What is my carbon footprint? What is the carbon footprint of this company? And how can we make it better? So thank you for listening, and I hope you get to use AI better and have more sustainable practices for our climate. Thank you.
Thank you, Joy. Thanks. So that's a wrap. That's a wrap for today's sessions. Thank you to all our speakers for sharing your insights, and to all of you for joining us and participating. We hope you enjoyed this TUG and this informative kickoff to 2025 of our the Tableau Press AI TUG. So stay tuned for more events and have a great day. See
Bye,
you soon.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.